Good morning, Pastor Tyrone P. Jones, Church for the City, Yuma, Arizona. Gateway Church in Texas and the Father's House in Vacaville are two churches we have a relationship with. They're among many helping to relocate hundreds of Ukrainian refugees here in the U.S. By contrast, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe released a 101-page document accusing Russia of illegally targeting hospitals, schools, residential buildings, and water facilities. The United Nations reports that 1.4 million Ukrainians are without running water. That was as of last week, and 4.6 million are at risk of losing their water supply. It's clear that Vladimir Putin is perpetrating genocide against the Ukrainian people. What is the stark difference in the one who wants to help and preserve life versus the one who wants to dispose of life? You may say it's simply evil, and I would say, of course, the act is one of evil. But there's a greater cause, and to me, it's this. Men and women fail to revere God. When that occurs, then what God says about man, such as God made man in his own image, as we see in Genesis 9:6, is entirely disregarded. Wallace B. Henley is a former pastor, White House and congressional aide. In an article published in Christian Post, he reports that a TV interviewer asked him, "Why do you think the Russians are committing atrocities in the Ukraine?" He writes, "Abortion." I answered so quickly it surprised even me. Here's a connection. Whether it's Russian soldiers massacring innocent Ukrainians or Americans murdering innocent unborn babies, both are objectifying humans as a means to their ends. He's right. Without the sense of God's transcendence, the concept of sin is lost as well. The result is the loss of the secularized individual human spirit and the soul of the society of the belief in the sense of God's transcendence and human accountability that goes with it. Henley concluded with this: when men and women no longer revere God, they lose reverence and respect for the life He has created in the womb, as well as the lives of innocents rushing to shelters amidst a fiery war. So that should be an understood concluding thought. The tragedies in Ukraine should appall us all, but not surprise us at all. When Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane before his crucifixion, he pled 3 times with his Father for his cup to pass from him. I believe our Savior was focused less on the physical torture he would face, as unspeakably horrific as that was, than on the spiritual agony he would experience. Because on the cross, the Father placed the sins of all humanity on his sinless Son's soul. In that moment, for the only moment in all of eternity, the two were separated as the Son cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Paul explained the transaction this way: for our sake, he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. That's 2 Corinthians 5:21. On that day, the Father said no to his Son so he could say yes to you and me. He said, "You live because my Son died." We've heard all our Christian lives that God loved us so much that he sent his Son to die for us. That's John 3:16. People will grab that truth for their own personal perseverance or preservation, yet too easily overlook the depth of our sin towards others we do not give a God value to. You and I don't have to commit atrocities against Ukrainians or abort unborn babies in America to participate in a culture that objectifies others to their loss and our gain. Every relational sin we commit, from theft to deceit, gossip, slander, and lust, and so on, is a variation on the same theme. Let's be true to the love of God to us and have that same love for others, valuing their life. 1 John 3:16 says true love is one laying down his life for his brothers. God bless you.